The Miami Heat defeated the Chicago Bulls 112-91. They will now be playing the Boston Celtics. They're the 8th seed. The Celtics are the number 1 seed. This is a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals, which turned out to be very competitive after Miami had gone up 3-0. No one thought the Celtics would come all the way back to force a Game 7. I may be one of the few, but I definitely believe if Jason Tatum did not get hurt in that Game 7 last year, Boston would have made history against Miami. It would have been amazing to see a team come back from 0-3 for the first time in NBA history, but it wasn't meant to be. But now, with that being said, Boston gets that rematch, and they get to get revenge on them. Granted, Jimmy Butler, who's a huge piece of the Miami Heat, will not play in this series, so this matchup won't be competitive like it was last year. Definitely not. I look at Jimmy Butler's numbers from last year's series. He averaged 24.7 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 6.1 assists, 2.6 steals, 0.4 blocks. His shooting wasn't great in that series. He shot 42 overall from the field, but if you actually watch that series, you could see all the intangible things he was doing on both ends of the court. He was just giving it all. Like on the defensive end, he was a menace. And on the offensive end, he was creating plays for his teammates to get easy buckets, and he was getting points too. Just overall, he had a huge impact on that series and the way it turned out. Without him, I would say Miami obviously does not win that series against Boston last year. Now that he's not going to be able to play in the playoffs, this series will take a different path than last year. You also have to factor in the Celtics did not have Kristaps Porzingis last year. This year, I feel Porzingis is having a renaissance. He's found a great role in the Celtics team, being a second or third guy at times. Sometimes I feel he's a second guy. When Jaylen Brown's not playing well, he steps up. So I think him and Jaylen Brown always rotate between who's the second best player. But I think that's a great luxury for the Celtics to have now. When in the past Jaylen had a bad game or Tatum had a bad game, they had no one else to pick up the slack, and Porzingis gives that to them. He's been great for them. It kind of reminds me of the effect Paul Gasol had on the Lakers when he got traded there. Granted, I'm not guaranteeing the Celtics have the same success as those Lakers teams that won 2 titles with Powell, but the impact is very similar from what I see of Porzingis. That definitely will be felt in this series and throughout the playoffs with the Celtics, because I expect them to go on a deep run. With all that being said, this series is going to be very short. I'm going to say Boston in 5 games. Celtics will beat the Miami Heat in 5 games. I'm going to give Miami 1 game. I think even without Jimmy Butler, just out of pride, they're good enough to steal 1 game from the Celtics where they go all out and they get that 1 win. That 1 win will be in Miami. That'll be the only game that they win in that series, either game 3 or 4 in Miami. And the series will be closed out in Boston. So there you have it. Celtics will beat the Miami Heat in 5 games.